Everyone, Rico Reviews here. It is that time of the week when I do my Damien recap. So it basically starts off where we left off last week, where Damien tried to kill himself in the garage, and we see Simone visiting him at the hospital, and I don't trust Simone at all. I think she's up to something. And then you see Rutledge talking to one of the hospital employees, and I guess she informs him about him trying to overdose, and Damien just walk gets up, gets changed, and walks out of there. I mean, I'm surprised nobody noticed him walk out of there. I mean, that's just amazing. And he meets his friend, who tells him this guy, I guess at this underground club, said that he knew Damien. And what we find out is that he saw him at the VA hospital, and he said that 6 months ago that this guy was put in a trunk, and Damien was also there, and the tattoo artist is the one who tattooed the 666 on the back of his head. So I thought that was a big twist. I was like, what? So then Damien goes to Lyons, who's Scott Wilson's character, to find out more about Anne Rutledge, and Lyons gives him this big file on Anne Rutledge, tell about her history and everything, and Damien's really starting not to trust her, and Lyons and Damien have this talk outside, and there's this old lady on this walker listening in, so I'm wondering, could that possibly be Anne listening? And he actually has lunch with Anne, and he tells her that he knows that she's lying to him, and he says, "You really believe that you're my mother, don't you?" And then he says, "My mother's dead. Maybe you'll have something in common with her soon." I'm like, is he seriously threatening her? I know Anne doesn't panic, but I'm like, she's definitely not gonna take Damien's threats lightly. So he goes back to Lyon's office, and I'm not exactly sure. I couldn't exactly read the file that Damien stole, but he sees these pictures of this woman. We have no idea who she is, and we find out that it's his adoptive mother, and he's at this house, and I had no idea where this house is, because he was suddenly at his apartment, out this big house, and I think it's his childhood home, and he learns that his adopted mother was kept away, and that the organization kept her from Damien all these years, and Damien wants to kind of reconnect with his mom and make up for the years that was lost. And when they go into the house, Anne comes in, and Damien's like, "What are you doing here?" And his mom's obviously upset because she lost so many years of Damien. She said to Anne, "You're gonna pay for all the time you made us lose." And suddenly his mom falls backwards, and she's dead, and Damien goes into a flight of rage. He throws Anne up against a wall and starts choking her. I was like, oh my god, like my heart was like exploding, because I was like, oh, poor Anne. I was like, oh, poor Barbara. I love Barbara and I love Anne. And Anne didn't even kill her. I was like, why is he in a fit of rage? So then all of a sudden these guys see him trying to choke Anne, and they come in and they try to stick him with something, I guess to sedate him. And I'm not sure if they're from the organization or from the hospital, but I believe he gets away, and they were going to shoot him, but Anne told them not to, and he goes back to his apartment, and Simone is there, and it only makes me wonder, like, the way she was acting and the way she was, like, chopping the steak. I was like, maybe Simone is the one who poisoned the food and not Anne. Maybe Lyons is just trying to make Damien believe that Anne did it, so he'll turn against Anne. And Simone was also trying to kiss Damien, which he was like, what's going on? So Damien is then stopped by Officer Shea, who, does not like him at all, and he says about his mom dying, he said, oh, is that coincidence? And Damien said, I can prove this, and tries to take him to the tattoo artist, and the tattoo artist is stabbed with all these knives and everything, and Officer Shea thinks it's Damien who did this, and he said that Anne told him about his mental health history and how he even said himself that he thinks he's going crazy, and Damien says that the nurse has his blood type, and I mean the nurse has the blood test with the drugs in his system, and the officer isn't buying it. So the officer goes to take him back to the station, what we think, and then we see Lyon's character get in the back, and he said, you couldn't let it go. Now the office has to deal with you, and I don't know where Officer Shea's character went to, and I think he's like kind of behind the whole conspiracy, because one minute he's there, the next minute he's not. It's just like how Damien's friend was meeting with Anne Rutledge behind his back, and the one minute Anne is there, and the next minute him and his friend are gone. So it makes me think, like, who really is behind all this, And all of a sudden these creatures like come all in and out of the car and try to attack Damien, drag him out, and then we're taken to this ambulance where they're trying to take care of an overdose Damien, and Damien's like calling out for his mom, and suddenly Anne Rutledge appears and tries to comfort him, and she said, asks about the dream, because he mentioned about a dream, and he said, I choked you, and he said I should have killed you when I had the chance. He's like, get the hell out of here, and Anne walks away, and she is so heartbroken that Damien doesn't trust her and is against her, and he doesn't, like, her love for Damien he doesn't receive it well, I guess, and Anne is, like, visibly upset, like, she's brokenhearted, and I felt brokenhearted seeing her like that. I mean, I'm definitely one of Anne's fallen angels. I'm definitely Team Anne, and it was so heart-wrenching to see her cry like that, because, like it or not, she did raise Damien. Even though she was in the shadows, she protected him and loved him like any mother would, and to have him say that to her, I mean, I can't imagine. And the previews for next week, it looks like Damien's like in this psychiatric hospital, and he's starting to think that Lyons is the one that's pulling the strings and not Anne. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm definitely hooked on this show. I'm definitely looking forward to next week. Hopefully there's more Anne, because I love Anne and I love Barbara. She's the reason I watched this show. And hopefully we'll get some more Anne and Damien scenes, and we'll get to see what happens to Damien, if he's in the psychiatric hospital now or what. We'll have to see. And hopefully we'll get to see who is really on his side and who's part of the conspiracy against Damien. I'm hoping, and I definitely think that Anne is one of his allies, but Damien, I think, in a way, when anybody gets close to him, they die. So I guess he's kind of afraid of that, and also kind of afraid to trust people, because he's trying to think, who can he really trust? So that's basically it on this week's Damien. If you guys want to catch Damien, it is on Mondays, 10 p.m. on A&E. I hope you enjoyed tonight's Damien and my recap. Like, subscribe, and remember, stay regal, and it's all for you.